job, factors determining the span of supervisional, organizational chart already completed. Today we're going to start the authority, responsibility, accountability. Today we're going to start the next, that is authority relationship, that is line, staff, and function. Okay, so what is authority? Authority is the right to order or command and is delegated from the superior to the subordinate to discharge his responsibilities. Authority simply means just right to order or right to command. Just right to order or right to command. अरे यार कहाँ खो गया, हाँ, एक मिनट. Introductions, formal organizations, mm, team building, transactional analysis. Factor determining the span of supervision. Huh. So, authority. What is authority? Simply, authority means just to give the right, proper way to command or to give proper order to the superior or to his delegates or to the subordinate. Okay. Now, right to procure or use raw material, to spend money or ask for the allotment of money, to hire people or to fire people, has to delegates to the individual to whom the work has been assigned. Okay, here different examples of authority has been given in this topic. Okay, authority simply means having proper order, just give proper command. The person who has given the authority has right to allocate money, utilize the resources in a proper way, hire the subordinates, hire freshers, hire new employees. Okay, they can fire the employees without any proper notice, without any proper informations. So these all the structural works in organizations in one word, that is called authority. Now authority has, there are the following, what you can say, there are the following mm, things which you need to understand, that authority is the right or power to command and control the subordinate. Authority is just simply the right or power to command the subordinates. Okay, authority doesn't means that you need to command the managements, you need to command the superiors. No, authority simply means just to command, just to ensure whether the rules and regulations or the policies that has been assigned, that has been prepared by the top management, whether it has been followed by the subordinates or not. This is called authority. Now, it is granted to oppositions for the achievement of organizational objective. Now, why authority is important? Authority is important as because if your visions, if your objectives, your motive of organizations is clear, then you need those authorities, those special powers. Authority simply means special powers. Special powers to run the organization very smoothly. That is why in every organizations, whether it is a small scale or whether it is in a medium scale or whether it is in large scale, authority is very, very important just to have command, control over that towards the subordinate. Next है, the authority may be exercised through persuasions or sanctions. If the subordinate does not obey, the superior has to right to take the disciplinary actions. From the line itself, it is clear to you that authority is given to those particular managers or to those particular supervisors who has the right to take the disciplinary actions, who has the educational, who has means who has a trained brain, who can utilize his brain to take quick, prompt, and right decisions. Okay, that is why authority is assigned to those persons who are experienced. Okay, authority has been assigned to those persons who are experienced. Now, the next one is, what is responsibility? The next one is responsibility. Just see, the term responsibility means the work or duties assigned to a person by virtue of his position in the organization. What is responsibility? Responsibility means the work or duties that is assigned to a person by the virtue of his position or in the organization. Now, for example, someone working in the organization as an executive post, someone working as an managerial post, someone working as a group D staff. Group D staff means labor category. Now, every department and every workers, their work, whatever the works that has been assigned to those particular executives, they know, they have a clear vision that what the work they has been assigned and what is their responsibility and what is their duty, and according to their responsibility in the organization, they follow, they perform their responsibility. Okay, now the person carrying the responsibility from the for the performance of given tasks has also the authority to perform it. For instance, if a project manager is responsible for the construction of a bridge, he has also the authority to command his subordinate, procure the needed materials, procure personnel, and seek assistance from functional departments for completion of the project. Responsibility uh, should be distinguished from the accountability, which is the obligations of an individual to render an account of the fulfillment of his responsibility to the superior to whom he reports. Very good example has been given in this particular line. Suppose a project manager who has been assigned a responsibility to construct a bridge. Look at the example, very beautiful example. And from one example, it is clear that what responsibility is all about. Now, the person who has been assigned to perform, to has the person who has been assigned with a project for a construction of a bridge, so to that particular person, the concept or the what is the project or the vision is very much clear that he need to construct a bridge. And for constructing a bridge in that particular area, whatever the decisions, whatever the responsibilities, whatever the workloads, or whatever the decisions he want to take, he can take those decisions independently. Okay, because he has given some special responsibilities for the construction of that particular bridge. And for construction of that particular bridge, whatever the necessary things or whatever the necessary responsibilities he need to give him, he need to take, that all authority, that all responsibility is subjected to that particular person with with proper responsibility, with proper work, with proper dedication. Okay, so this is called the responsibility. The next one is accountability. What is the meaning of this word accountability? Just as responsibility is the result of work to perform, and authority is derived from responsibility. What is responsibility? No, sorry. What is accountability? It's accountability is something that when a subordinate is given an assignment and is granted the necessary authority to complete it, the final phase in the basic organization relationship is holding a subordinate position responsible for the result. Okay, now look what is accountability is all about. Just like in a supervisor, suppose for an example, a supervisor assigned a subordinate employee with work. Okay, now the supervisor has made a what you can say has just means declare a time, specific time, and with that specific time that has been allotted to the subordinate, to that labor, he that labor need to complete the work which has been assigned by the supervisor. Now, during this tenure or during this period, what the supervisor will observe? The supervisor will observe that what the work that I have been assigned to that labor, is he performing his duty diligently? Is he performing his responsibility, his work with responsibility? What is the quality of the product he is preparing? This all been guided, or this all been supervised by the supervision to that particular labor. And now what that particular labor, what he will do? He will just perform his duty with utter responsibility, with much more dedication. Okay. Now this term of dedication, or this term of work that has been assigned to the labor, is called accountability of the work. ठीक है. दिस इज कॉल्ड द अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ वर्क. मैं हिंदी में इसका थोड़ा सा अनुवाद करके देता हूं. सपोज कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सुपरवाइजर अपने अंडर में जितने भी लेबर्स हैं उनको कुछ काम दिया जाता है. अब लेबर का ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रहता है, जो काम उनका सुपरवाइजर उनको असाइन किया है वो सही वक्त पर, प्रॉपर तरीके से, और विदाउट मेकिंग एनी, विदाउट चेंजिंग दैट सिचुएशंस, वो अपना काम सही ढंग से दिखाएगा. ठीक है. ये जो सही ढंग से काम खत्म करने का जो बात है, उसे हम अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ वर्क कहते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ वर्क. एक और एग्जांपल लेता हूं. सपोज कोई भी एजुकेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जब आपका रेस्पेक्टिव डिपार्टमेंटल एचओडीज, जब आप एक फैकल्टी के तौर पे आपको कुछ रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दिए जाते हैं कि सपोज आज आप जाके ये सेक्शन में ये पढ़ाइए. ठीक है. तो सबसे पहले जब वो क्लास आपको दिया जाता है, इसका मतलब क्या है? एचओडी के जहन में ये बात जरूर रहता है कि जिसको मैंने जो क्लास दिया है, डेफिनेटली वो उस क्लास में जाके वो क्लास वो ले पाएगा. ठीक है. और जो फैकल्टी जिसको ये काम मिला है, वो क्या देखता है? वो देखता है जो भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मुझे मिला है, मैं उस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को हर हाल में अच्छी तरह से निभाऊं, ताकि जो काम दिया गया है सही वक्त पर और सही ढंग से और विद प्रॉपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मैं उसको टाइम और वक्त के साथ खत्म कर सकूं. ये जो वक्त के साथ खत्म करना, ये जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, उसको अकॉर्डिंग टू द मैनेजरियल टर्म इट इज कॉल्ड अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ वर्क. एम आई क्लियर, मधुस्मिता एंड एवरीवन हु इज लिसनिंग टू मी? Okay. Another word, accountability is the obligation to carry out responsibility and exercise authority in terms of okay, very good. For accountability to be effective, the standard of performance should be determined during the task and should be understood and accepted by the subordinate. एक और बात important word है, whatever the work or whatever the responsibilities you has been given, try to perform those responsibility with utter effective way, with proper and effective way. Okay. That particular term is called accountability. Now, the next one is difference between authority and responsibility. This question's going to come in your examination. What is the difference between authority and responsibility? Authority और responsibility में difference क्या है? देखो, authority is the right of a manager to command his subordinate and use organizational resources. ओके. ऑथोरिटी क्या है? ऑथोरिटी मैनेजर का एक हक होता है जो कि कमांड के तौर पे सबऑर्डिनेट के ऊपर ये कार्रवाई होता है. नाउ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी डिनोट टू द ड्यूटीज और टास्क असाइंड टू द सबऑर्डिनेट बाय हिज बॉस. और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या होता है? रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी डिनोट करता है दैट वट एवर द ड्यूटीज एंड टास्क दैट हैज बीन असाइंड to the subordinate by the boss should be performed with utter responsibility. Okay. नेक्स्ट है authority arises because of formal position in the organization. Whosoever occupies a position has the right to command the subordinate. Responsibility arises from a superior subordinate relationship. The subordinate is accountable since he owes an explanation to his superior for the performance of his duty assigned. Very good. Now, next difference क्या है? Authority arises because of because of formal position in the organization. Whosoever occupies a position has the right to command the subordinate. Now, authority क्या है? Authority is raised because of some higher positions, because of the responsibility that is assigned to the particular post. Whereas responsibility arises from a superior subordinate relation. कहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है? रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी स्टार्ट होता है एक सुपीरियर या फिर एक सुपरवाइजर और एक सबॉर्डिनेट के बीच में या एक लेबर के बीच में जो रिलेशनशिप होता है वहां पर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनता है. ऑथोरिटी कैन बी डेलीगेटेड टू द सबॉर्डिनेट्स. ऑथोरिटी जो है वो डेलीगेट किया जाता है, स्प्रेड किया जाता है टू डिफरेंट सबॉर्डिनेट. whereas responsibility that cannot be delegated. Responsibility cannot be delegated. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को कहीं पर भी स्प्रेड नहीं किया जा सकता है. वो अपने आप एक निर्भर होता है कि आप कितने अच्छे रिस्पॉन्सिबल होके काम करते हो. नेक्स्ट है ऑथोरिटी ऑलवेज फ्लोज डाउनवर्ड फ्रॉम सुपीरियर टू द सबऑर्डिनेट. ऑथोरिटी ऑलवेज फ्लो डाउनवर्ड. ओके, डाउनवर्ड में ऑथोरिटी फ्लो होता है, दैट इज फ्रॉम सुपीरियर टू subordinate, whereas accountability always move in upward direction as the subordinate is responsible to his superior. Okay, और accountability क्या होता है या responsibility क्या होता है? responsibility always move upward direction. upward मतलब नीचे से ऊपर तक जाता है. आप नीचे कितना अच्छा रिस्पॉन्सिबल लेके काम करते हो उतना ही रिजल्ट आपको मैनेजमेंट पे दिखेगा. Okay, so these are the basic difference between authority and responsibility. Okay, how many kinds of authorities are there? Number one, authority of knowledge. Number two, authority of position. Number three, legal authority. Number four, mm, legal authority. So these are the three kind of authorities are there. Three kind of authorities are there. Number one is authority of knowledge. Number one is authority of knowledge. Number two is authority of position. Number three is legal authority. Okay, so these are the three kinds of authorities are there. Now the next one is types of authority relationship. The next point is type of authority relationship. Authority or relationship में what are the different types of authorities are there and its relationship here. All the four types can be found in almost every big organization. The organization patterns that accompany the four types of authority have been already discussed in this chapter. So, what are the four types of authority? Number one is line authority. Number two is अच्छा यहाँ पर एक ही दिया गया है, यहाँ पर एक ही दिया है line authority. Number two is you can say number two is reference power. Number three is the accountability of work. These are the three important types of authorities are there. Now, what is line authority? What is line authority? Line authority क्या होता है? Line authority is simply means the process where you need to perform the significant work in a dynamic way to have the organizations or to I have just changed the line. I need to recreate those things. ये कभी कभी ना ये स्किप हो जाता है. कभी कभी determine the kind of structure, defining job, span of supervision, organizational chart, authority, responsibility, accountability, difference between authority and responsibility. Okay, types of authority. Yes, the next one is line authority. What is line authority? So, line authority refer to those positions and elements of the organization which have responsibility and authority and are accountable for accomplishment of primary objectives. Okay, so what is line authority? Line authority refer to those positions and elements of organization which have responsibility and authority and are accountable for accomplishment of primary objectives. देखो, कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में अगर उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को आप डेवलप करना चाहते हो तो लाइन ऑफ अथॉरिटी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लाइन ऑफ अथॉरिटीज में two important factors are there. What is the two important factor? The two important factors are responsibility and authority. Responsibility and authority. If any organization where the responsibility and authority are not run parallelly, then that organizations will never ever going to have the clear objectivities in next 5 years. That is why to approve the organizations with goal orientation, you need to follow responsibility and authority, which is very, very important. Now, the next step, it is also said that the authority to direct the work of others and to require them to conform decisions, plans, policies, systems, procedures, goal. Okay. Now, line of authorities. What are the features of line of authority? What are the important features of line of authority? Now, the important features of line of authority is number one is plan, number two is policies, number three is systems, number four is procedure, number five is goal. These are the five important features of authority. ये सबसे important features है authorities का. If in any organization this five features is absent, then that organizations will fail to run for a longer period of time. Okay, that is why these five important authorities are very important. That is plan, policies, system, procedure, and goal. Line elements provide authority to decide and direct. To decide, अरे यार फिर से चला गया, एक मिनट. Line elements provide authority to decide and direct and central means for flow of communication through scalar chain of authority. Line officials are in the chain of command from the highest executive to the lowest positions in the organizations. Just a minute. Uma, ma, phone এসছে. হ্যাঁ, chain of the. Now, line officials are in the chain of Line authority officials are the chain of command from the highest executive বাসন্তীকে কি ফোন করেছিল হুম, to the lowest position in the organization. Each successive manager exercises directly line authority over the subordinate. However, line authority is not absolute. Managers are responsible for how they exercise authority and its for its consequences. They must use judgment and discrimination and stay within the limits for their delegated authority. They must apply authority reasonably to the performance of tasks and the proper execution of organizational policies. It should be remembered that the primary purpose of line authority is to ensure effective functioning of the organization. It does not, it does so in the following ways. Okay, now what are the elements of what you can say? What are the elements of authority? Now, elements of authority means, for an example, a managers of any organizations are responsible for the exercise of authority, just means execute of authority with responsibility. Okay, now what will happen if the authority and responsibility execute in a proper way? What will happen? The subordinates or the labor categories or the executive under executive categories, the working class categories will perform their duties with utter responsibilities. And what will happen? Then the managers can take the prompt and quick decisions. They can execute further new plan. They can schedule some leave. Okay, they can execute some new policies, new strategies, new business or new marketing strategies. Okay, so what will happen? This because of this proper executions of organizational policies, ultimately it will seem that the those organization where there is an executions of proper executions of organizational policies, then ultimately that organizations grows more than any other organization. Now, what are the points we need to remember during the line of authorities? What are the points we need to remember in the line of authorities? First point is line of authorities always act as a chain of command. I have already told you that in my previous classes that command should be in a chain form. Okay, command should be in a chain form. Chain form means whenever the higher officials or whenever the higher management surpass or passes any command, okay, passes any command, that command need to be executed in a proper time. Okay, that plan and policies or that command need to be executed in a proper channel way, in a proper way. Then only that command is being uh, that command is being executed by different subordinated, and according to that command the work will going to be performed very clearly or very actively. And now the same thing repeated in the same line of authority. The same point is repeating in the line of authority. Line of authority means the chain of command from the executive to the lower level worker. It provides the channel of communication. कमांड हर समय एग्जीक्यूटिव लेवल से लेके लोअर लेवल तक सिमिलर चेन में फॉलो अप होना चाहिए. अगर कमांड प्रॉपर तरीके से एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होता है, if the command is not being executed in or channelized in a proper way, then what will happen? The goal which the organizations want to meet up, that goal will not going to perform. Okay, they will, there is a lack of goal orientation. That is why always remember that in line of authority, channel of command is very important. It provides the basic decisions required for operating the enterprises. The next point है, it provide the basic decisions required for operating the enterprises. Now, another important thing is that the principle of line of authority also execute the, what you can say, the policies and strategies of any organization. Now that policies and strategies, or you can say decisions, required or very important for operating any enterprise. कोई भी एंटरप्राइज या कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को अगर आप अच्छा स्टार्ट देना चाहते हो, अगले 5 साल के लिए आप उसको डेवलप करना चाहते हो, तो आपको सबसे पहले कमांड देना आना चाहिए। उसके बाद आपका कुछ भी डिसीशंस होगा, जो डिसीशंस होगा वो एक फ्रूटफुल डिसीशंस होना चाहिए। ये सब कुछ जो है वो लाइन ऑफ अथॉरिटीज में आता है। द थर्ड पॉइंट इज टू मेक द लीडर by establishing authentic channel of communication. Another important is the communication, the flow of communication. Communication जितना effective होगा, जितना फ्रूटफुल होगा, जितना आप इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, उतना ही काम अच्छा होगा। इफ द कम्युनिकेशन इज नॉट क्लियर, इज नॉट इफेक्टिव, then the productions or the establishment of organizations is not been up to the mark. Okay, next point है, it provide it provide point of references for the approval or rejection of proposal. The next point है, it provide the reference for the approval or rejection of the proposal. लाइन ऑफ अथॉरिटीज में ये भी एक पावर है कि जहां आप इंडिपेंडेंटली कोई डिसीजंस ले सकते हो। आपको अगर कोई डिसीजंस अच्छा नहीं लगा तो आपको वो अथॉरिटी मिलना चाहिए, आप कोई भी डिसीजंस को एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो या फिर कोई भी डिसीजंस को आप फेल कर सकते हो या इंप्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकते हो। दैट अथॉरिटी नीड टू बी डिप्लॉय टू एवरी एग्जीक्यूटिव इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। Then the next point is, or the last point is, it serve as a means of control by setting limits to the scope of managerial actions. Another important point. What is the important point? It serve as a mean of control. It serve as a mean of control by setting limits to the scope of excuse me, to the scope of managerial actions. Now the actions, it means it serve as a means to control the setting limits of the scope of managerial action. Now there must be some limitations. Okay. Now suppose the managers or the higher officials need to have some control over their decisions, over their settings or executing those plans. If the control is not there of any decisions or executing any plan or responsibility, then what will happen? They can take any decisions without any prior informations, without any proper knowledge. They try to execute those plan and policies which is not been fruitful or which is not good in case of organization। ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल में एक बैरियर होना चाहिए। क्या बैरियर होना चाहिए? ये कंट्रोल होना चाहिए कि इतना मैनेजर को, एग्जीक्यूटिव को इतना भी ओपन या फ्रीनेस नहीं देना चाहिए ताकि वो कोई भी डिसीजंस अपने मन मुताबिक ले। ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के मन मुताबिक डिसीजंस लेना पड़ेगा, तब जाके एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अच्छी तरह से बिल्डअप होता है। सो important functions of effective line of authority. Am I clear, Madhusmita? If you are listening to me, just check the diagram, which is very important. You just check the diagram, the relationships, types of authority, line, line and staff, the functions. Look how it has been given. Means supervisor, manager, supervisor, subordinate. Look at the first left corner of the diagram, which has been which are been drawn in a box, square. First one is management, top management. Next one is supervisors or executive. The third one is laborers. Now come to the next. Look how the channel flow of communication or how the command process is being running here. Look how the command process is being running here. टॉप मैनेजमेंट जो कम्युनिकेशन प्रोसेस होगा वो डाउनवर्ड होगा. देखो सबऑर्डिनेट ऊपर में मैनेजमेंट है, नीचे में आपका सबऑर्डिनेट है, बीच में आपका सुपरवाइजर एग्जीक्यूटिव पोस्ट है. वो मैनेजमेंट का वो बात यहां से एग्जीक्यूट होके लेबर तक जा रहा है. लुक एट द चैनल, लुक एट द फ्लो ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन एंड लुक एट द line and staff of authorities. Very beautifully it has been prepared. The next one is function. Look at the third diagram, which is look at the next diagram, which has been quite right. Look at the diagram. The top managements, the management top post, executing or authorizing those decisions to the subordinate. ठीक है, देखो डायग्राम को देखो, अगर आप ड्रॉ कर सकते हो तो अब बहुत अच्छा है. दिस इज कॉल्ड स्टाफ ऑथोरिटीज. These are called the staff authorities. Yes, Madhusmita, your voice is breaking. You want to say something? Madhusmita, आपका voice break हो रहा है. You want to say something? ठीक है. You can. अच्छा ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Now, what is staff? Staff किसे कहते हैं? What is staff? Staff. Hello. Yes, Madhusmita.
Yes, sir.
Any want to say something? Voice is breaking, Madhusmita. Hello, you want to say something? You any doubts so far? Okay. Now, what is staff? Staff refer to those elements which have responsibility and authority for providing advice and services to line in attainment. To line in attainment. What is staff? Staff किसे कहते हैं? Staff refer to those elements which have responsibility and authority for providing advice and services to line attainment of objective. Staff किसे कहते हैं? Staff उस elements को कहते हैं जहां पर responsibility और authority दोनों का combination होता है for providing better advices, for providing better services, for attainment of any objective. That is called staff. Very good definition. You may going to get this type of questions in your examination. Staff are those elements which have responsibility and authority for providing advice and services to the line attainment of objectives. Okay, a good example is there. Now, Fuel describes staff as an adjacent reinforcement and sort of extension of manager's personality. Okay, line managers make the salient decisions by exercising command authority, whereas staff officials advise and counsel with no authority to command. Staff authority is best defined as authority whose scope is limited by the absence of the right to direct or command to such authority auxiliary and facilitates activities as planning, recommending, advising, or assisting. Okay, so it's a very simple definitions been given over here. The nature of staff authority is advisory as shown in broken figure 59. देखो 59 में एक स्टाफ का 59 and 60 एक एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है. The use of staff to assist the line came about because of the needs to provide special counsel and assistance to the line manager who is unable to carry out the demand of his position. Now, line authority alone became inadequate. Okay, ये सेम चीज बार बार रिपीट हुआ है. तो सिंपली यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज स्टाफ. स्टाफ एक एलिमेंट्स होता है. यू कैन से दोज एलिमेंट्स हु हैव द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड ऑथोरिटी and by advising or providing services for the attainment of any objective. ये है simple definition of staff. Now, the next part, the basic criterion for distinguishing, the basic criterion for distinguishing between line and staff functions is the degree of closeness of the functions to the primary objective of the organization. Basic activities such as production, finance, and marketing are usually line dependent. Okay, is very good written. Activities such as industrial, engineering, and costing, which consist mainly of assistance, advice, or services cutting across several units, are general set up as staff department. However, the indirect relationship of staff to primary objective does not necessarily mean any lack of importance. Okay, so what is there is another definition, or there are another features of staff been given here. Staff are such as activities such as industrial engineering costing, which consist mainly of assistance, advice, or services cutting across several unit. देखो स्टाफ का एक और डेफिनेशन दिया गया है. डेफिनेशन तो नहीं कह सकते हैं, फीचर्स कह सकते हैं. व्हाट आर द इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर्स ऑफ अ स्टाफ. स्टाफ का इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर्स क्या होता है. पहला तो असिस्टेंस करना, दूसरा है एडवाइस करना, तीसरा है सर्विस प्रोवाइड करना. ओके, टू एवरी डिपार्टमेंट, टू एवरी डिपार्टमेंट, that is called staff. However, the indirect relationship of staff to primary objective does not necessarily mean any lack of importance. Okay, from indirect relationship, from direct relationship to the indirect relationship of staff, everywhere there is a huge requirement in any organization. If you want to fulfill your objectives, if you want to fulfill in your goal, you require a staff. And staff have some special features. They are a very good service provider, they are a very good advisor, and they are always assist to the work. They are always putting their 100% effort to the work or completion of that particular work. Okay, so these are the important features of staff. Understood? Am I clear to you? Okay, is it clear? ठीक है. Now, the next one is stress. What is stress? Stress is an adaptive response mediated by individual characteristics, psychological process that is a consequences of an external action, situation, or event that places uh, special physical or psychological demand upon a person. This definition is not difficult to see when we reduce these three interrelated dimensions of stress. Number one is environmental demand, or referred to as a stressors. Number two, an adaptive response that is influenced by, and number three is individual differences. These are the three important definitions, or these are the three important points of stress. What is stress? स्ट्रेस एक साइकोलॉजिकल और फिजिकल डिमांड्स होता है अपॉन ए पर्सन, और अगर उस डिमांड नहीं हो पाता है तो हमारे अंदर एक केमिकल रिएक्शंस होता है, हम डिप्रेशन में चले जाते हैं या उदास हो जाते हैं. तो ये जो नेचर होता है उसे हम स्ट्रेस कहते हैं। एम आई क्लियर? और थोड़ा सा ब्रीफली मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन करता हूं। स्ट्रेस किसे कहते हैं? स्ट्रेस हम उस चीज को कहते हैं, स्ट्रेस हम उस चीज को कहते हैं जब हमारा कुछ डिमांड्स या हमारे कुछ ऑब्जेक्टिव्स या हमारा कुछ गोल हम उसे फुलफिल नहीं कर पाते हैं। When we fail to attain some goals, some responsibility, some results, okay, we fail to attain these goals, results or something, then some chemical reactions that take place in our mind, and with this chemical reactions we may get psychological disturbances, we may get depressed, we feel sad. And with this objective, with all this objective, this is with all these objectives, a stress has been given, a stress has been come on us, or the stress has been inhaled on us. ओके okay? जब भी कोई हमारा जो एक ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है या फिर कोई डिजायर होता है या कुछ रिजल्ट होता है, हम उसे फुलफिल नहीं कर पाते, अननेसेसरी फेल हो जाते हैं, तब हमारे ब्रेन में कुछ केमिकल्स या साइकोलॉजिकल एक्शंस होता है। ठीक है, ये तो उस सिचुएशंस को हम एक वर्ड में स्ट्रेस कहते हैं। फॉर एन एग्जांपल, सपोज यू आर वर्किंग इन एनी MNC's company. Now your boss has ordered you to complete the assignment or to complete the project within 2 days. Now, though you know you can complete your work within 2 days, but still you run, your mind run in a sad or you can say worried mood. आपका जो माइंड है वो थोड़ा सा वरीड हो जाता है और थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट होता है। आप देखिएगा, आप स्ट्रेस सिचुएशंस में अच्छे से खा नहीं पाओगे, अच्छे से अपने आप को रेस्ट नहीं दे पाओगे। यू विल ऑलवेज फील अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर वर्क, कैसे करके मैं 2 दिन में उस काम को करके दूंगा। तो इस सिचुएशंस को हम स्ट्रेस कहते हैं। ओके, stress is not merely nervous tension. Now, according to Henstyle, Henstyle, who is considered the father of modern concept of stress, Hennes Sally जो है, Hans Sally, he is considered as the father of modern concept of stress. Now, according to him, some theories are been given here. Number one theory, stress is not merely a nervous tension. स्ट्रेस जो होता है, अकॉर्डिंग टू हैंस सेली, he said that stress is not any nervous or tension. Number two, stress can be positive consequences. Automatically stress may come to some positive consequences. हमेशा स्ट्रेस जो होता है वो नेगेटिव नहीं होता है, कभी कभी स्ट्रेस जो होता है सब कुछ पॉजिटिव कंसिक्वेंसेस लेके आता है। थर्ड है, स्ट्रेस इज नॉट समथिंग टू बी अवॉइडेड। स्ट्रेस जब आता है हमें ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए कि हम उस चीज को अवॉइड करें, वी नीड टू फेस। नंबर लास्ट इज द कंप्लीट एब्सेंस ऑफ स्ट्रेस इज डेथ। अगर किसी इंसान में स्ट्रेस नहीं होता है, फील नहीं होता है, थोड़ा सा नर्वस नहीं होता है, थोड़ा सा एक्साइटमेंट नहीं होता है, किसी के लाइफ में अगर ये तीनों चारों चीज नहीं होता है, उस पर्सन को या उस इंसान को या तो हम पागल बोलते हैं या फिर उस इंसान को हम डेथ बोलते हैं, डेथ पर्सन और डेड पर्सन। जस्ट लाइक ए रोबोट, जैसे रोबोट का कोई आप जैसे कोई रोबो, जैसे कोई एक एक सपोज कोई एक क्या करेंगे, सपोज अ कंप्यूटर, यू जस्ट टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ कंप्यूटर। कंप्यूटर डजंट यूज हिज ओन ब्रेन, though he has a CPU, central processing unit, though he has a RAM, okay, but still it needs a human brain to run. Okay, that is why you cannot feel that a computer has a stress. No, but a human being need to have a stress. Or according to Hans Selye, stress is very important in every human being's life. If there is an absence of stress in human being, that particular person will be considered as a mad person, or a, you can say, as a dead person. Why? Because according to Hensley, stress cannot be always be negative. किसी की जिंदगी में अगर टेंशन, थोड़ा सा दुख, थोड़ा सा उतार चढ़ाव ना हो, तो हम उसे लाइफ नहीं कहते हैं। लाइफ में अगर थोड़ा सा उतार चढ़ाव, सैड, हैप्पी, डिस्टर्बेंस, वरी, ये सारा कुछ जो कोऑर्डिनेशंस नहीं रहेगा एक के लाइफ में, तब हम उसे लाइफ नहीं कहते हैं। उसे हम या तो पागल कहते हैं, जिसे जिंदगी से कोई लेना देने नहीं होता है, या फिर हम उस तरह के इंसान को हम डेड पर्सन कहते हैं। जस्ट लाइक एन एनी रोबो or any doll that is been run in, while you need to give a key to that particular doll. That is called stress. Okay, Madhusmita, is it clear to you? Okay, so tomorrow we will going to start environmental factor, और ज्यादा नहीं है, ये पूरा हम कंप्लीट कर देंगे tomorrow. I will try my best to complete tomorrow. Then the organizational behavior part of the syllabus will going to be get over. We will going to start a new chapters. Okay, so tomorrow we will going to start stress or environmental factor that produce stress. What are the environmental factor that produce stress?